What's up, everybody? It's Mark and James.
What's
Sorry I
up?
introduced you for you. Um, Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Castberry Jamcast. Why we call it that?
Yeah.
Because Castberry sounds like berries, right? A weird butt nut, whatever shape berry you want it to be.
Yes.
It's a combination of both of our last names. And I've had the idea that it sounds like a berry, and jam is made of berries. So we're the Jam Cat. Anyway, what's up, guys? We're here to talk about some video games and then whatever else we want to fucking talk about, I guess.
Yeah.
About right, Jen? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's about right. It took me a minute to get this situated, and I apologize to anyone watching if it's a little bit janky or if it just doesn't seem to work properly. I am still fixing this. It was a little bit frustrating trying to figure this out to where
I couldn't help either. I was me helping was being silent so as not to frustrate James any farther than what was happening. Like, it sounded frustrating just like watching it, and he was just progressively like getting angry. I'm like, oh shit, I feel bad. But there's nothing I can do. I can't like reach into the phone or his computer and be like, fucking work.
Yeah. That's basically what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be talking about both of us. We have 3 games apiece, whether that's a series. Well, Mark's is more of like a series. Mine are just specific games. But either way, it still classifies. Games that are just kind of maybe lost in the horde of all these games that have been made. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that, and then I'm going to be showing off some gameplay for every game, or at least trying to.
Yes.
And then to top this all off, we're going to be doing at the very end of this video, we're going to be doing a very funny review I found of a game Mark streamed a while ago. ZJ the Ball. So
funny thing about that, I don't know if I told you or not. My girlfriend and I, we went on vacation recently, and it was a family thing. My mom lives down in Florida, and we make it an annual thing to go down there. So it's kind of like a vacation / go see mom kind of deal that we do every year. And my nephew Mason and I were in his room playing video games, and we were on the Xbox, and I showed him the game forever ago. I think when I showed James and we found it,
it's funny as hell.
He brought it up to me. He was like, "Oh, do you remember ZJ the Ball, Mark?" I'm like, "Oh man, yeah." And so we were looking at it again, and I saw that the game was only like $1, and we had only played the demo version. Mind you, the entire game was only about 15 to 20 minutes long. So I don't know why they had a demo for the game. It's stupid. Most demos are at least 30 to 45 minutes long. So we completed that game, and it was shit. If you guys look at it later, we might be able to show some gameplay and stuff on it too, like screenshots and whatnot. But
yeah,
this game it looks like somebody made it on Microsoft Paint. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's a religious game. But funnier, I should say, than the game are the reviews, which James and I have read quite a bit of.
Yeah, I found one on online today that I thought was hilarious. So,
but yeah, that's pretty much what we are gonna make this, guys. Is pretty much just kind of a thing, one that James and I can, get together and talk, because with a lot of the stuff that I think we've got going on in our separate lives, it's a little difficult to even get together and play games. But I at least wanted, even if we don't do that regularly anymore, or for right now, this is gonna be like a weekly thing we do every Wednesday. So it's a way for James and I to talk to each other. It'll kind of serve that purpose too, of James and I being able to hang out. But also, I don't really have anybody to talk to about video games. I talk to my girlfriend about them sometimes, and she looks like she's ready to Kurt Cobain herself. So I figured, This would be a good thing for both of us to be able to do. It'd be for something fun. It's stuff that we like to talk about.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about this. I don't know about James, but I think this will be really, really good.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it.
And it's
Like,
been something that we've had in the works for a really long time too. It's just
yeah,
we really got it set up.
we've been wanting to do it for a while, and I think now that we have the means of finally doing it, um, I think it's going to be a fun thing. Our
Yeah.
friend JD, the Media Jack, go follow him, subscribe to his channel, so you can win a PS5.
Yes.
Shameless
Actually, don't
plug.
subscribe to his
But
channel. Let me or do that. But don't watch his stream at the end of the month from James and I. Back off.
yeah, back off. We want
Get
that
that PS5
PS5.
one way or another.
Yeah, we want it. No. But he already offered to edit this if we need to. So it. So we're gonna. The plan is, at least for my sake of this, we're gonna record this Wednesday night, and then the same night, if he wants to edit it, I'm gonna send it to him. If he thinks it needs edited, we'll edit it. We'll get it edited, and then we'll try to have it done. I will hope, depending on like JD's schedule and everything, maybe like Friday or Saturday. So like, if it needs edited, at least.
I think too what we could do, if anybody watching this would be interested, we could probably do an unedited version too, so you can watch either or you can just tune in live and see it unedited, and
Yeah, if we decide to do a live one.
yeah.
I just decided this first one as a recording mostly because of shenanigans. Because if I would have started this live stream earlier, we would have been sitting here for like 20 plus minutes and just listening to my frustration. This is probably gonna be our backgrounds for a little while, at least for me, because I don't really have much space. So this just, if you're gonna see some of my Funkos, and then that's me to the right there. And then Mark's got, you can see Mark's stuff. He's got some Zelda and F-Zero and Dragon Ball and some figurines I got him. Some Funkos I got him. I know I definitely got you that. I think I got you both of those, didn't I? That Bloodborne and Sekiro one. I think I
Yes.
did. I know I definitely got the Bloodborne one. I don't.
Yeah, no, you gave me Wolf too.
Yeah. I couldn't remember because I know I definitely gave. Well, I know once I saw Bloodborne, I was like, "Shit, Mark's gonna love that one. I'm gonna get it." Because they don't make many Funkos for like FromSoft at
They
all.
don't really make a whole lot of. Well, okay, so they do. It's just the thing
Stupid
is with
expensive.
software stuff. Yes, it's usually very very expensive. But from what I've seen, it's like super fucking great quality figures and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about it though too is like I like the Funko Pops. I kind of see that as like kind of like little chibi like versions
Yeah.
of characters, and I like the chibi stuff too. Like people always think that they have to get like super like realistic shit, but it's just like it doesn't bother me as long if it's something from a franchise or something that I enjoy. Then I'm not
Let
gonna
me grab one just for an example. Well, I don't really have a good example one over there. Do I have one back here? Like, okay, so Cody Rhodes, like you can just tell, it's pretty detailed. It's just a little chibi version of him. Yeah, I do agree with what you're saying, Mark. Like the chibi versions just kind of work for some of it. Like even if they're not chibi, like the little small figurines you would get in like those little like mystery boxes. I have those too. Like I'm looking at some Kingdom Hearts ones right now.
These little guys, I love stuff like this. So my girlfriend made these. It's a little Vegeta, but it's a little
like
Lego.
A Lego.
She's made him.
So they did make some. There's more Crash ones than the Ripperoo one you got, Mark. But they're like really hard to keep together, apparently.
So what Rachel did was as she would put the blocks on, she would glue them.
Yeah, That's a good thing. Cause I was watching a guy review of like all the Crash merchandise he got, and he was
Yeah.
talking about the one, like specifically that line, the one with Ripperoo. And he's like, "Yeah, don't move them because you move one of them, you just barely lightly touch them, and it just falls apart." But that's really fucking cool.
It's probably one of my favorite ones that she's made.
So it's like little statues, but they have like this little base on the back that has like. So I have like Karibo. I don't know why we went to talking about collection stuff, but we can talk about whatever we want. Gate Guardian, and then my favorite out of the three. They only had three, which is oddly weird. Summon Skull. They only did Summon Skull, Karibo, and Gate Guardian of all, which is kind of a weird trio of Yu-Gi-Oh characters. Um, like I would expect like Dark Magician, Blue Eyes White Dragon, and stuff like that. Which I never noticed in the anime, Mark. I don't know if you because you probably haven't watched Yu-Gi-Oh in a while. When they said Blue Eyes White Dragon, he's supposed to have blue eyes and be white, but in the anime he's blue, and he has yeah yeah. So the name doesn't make any sense in terms of the anime unless they do the movie. Then they're actually white and they have the blue eyes. But like the first anime of Yu-Gi-Oh, they were blue and they had like black eyes. I'm like, that's not how Blue Eyes White Dragon's supposed to look like. But now they have so much merch of the character looking like that that you can't really help
Go
it.
back.
Yeah. And no one seems to like complain about it. So
I'm sure people complained about it. It's just they probably don't care enough to. It'd be Konami, right?
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
Konami.
They probably don't give a shit enough to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Ah, fuck it. He's blue.
Yeah, he's blue, even though his name is Blue Eyes White Dragon. Oh man, what I would kill for those cards. Not really, but I would love to have like the old fashioned cards. I kill them. What do I do for a Klondike bar?
Like when you had that stuff as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
especially those first run cards, like when that show got really big, like nobody didn't have Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So
Yeah.
to have those like first prints now, like as a kid, all the stupid shit you used to do with your toys and stuff, it's like if I'd have just kept the hold on those,
Yeah.
I would be sitting on a gold mine right now. But
Yeah, so would I.
You don't know better, so it's.
I would have too, man. I would have been like, okay, here we go. I would have had like a lot of. I think I had the original Dark Magician card too. Thinking more about it, I know I had Baby Dragon, which is like my favorite monster for no reason. I don't know why. It was just a very simple design, and I liked it. So if they make a Funko of Baby Dragon or something, or any more merchandise, I will buy it.
I always really liked my two favorites were always
Magician of Black Chaos or whatever. So I
yeah,
remember you saying that in our Falsebound Hero playthrough or Kingdom.
And then, well, I guess three. So yeah, Magician of Black Chaos, and then I really liked Relinquished and Jinzo.
Jinzo's a classic one. You can't go wrong with that.
Fucking creepy as fuck. Yeah, he kind of reminded me like a Cenobite, like Pinhead and shit.
Yeah, thinking more about it, yeah, he does look like Pinhead a little bit.
He kind of looks like one of those the Cenobite guys.
Do you remember in Yu-Gi-Oh GX, there was a Jinzo soul, and he was coming around and stealing like the kids' souls, and Jaden had to duel him, and
I'm just gonna let you know right now, no, because I haven't seen.
No, yeah, that was an actual thing.
there was something that I've always thought about this one episode of Pokemon, and it's the one where that dude is a Ghastly, and he like waits every year for this like festival for his like dead girlfriend's ghost to fucking show up and shit. And
yeah,
for the longest, couldn't find anybody that knew that ever remembered that episode, and I could like never find it for some reason. And I came downstairs the other day and Carter and Rachel were watching Pokemon, and that episode came on. And I was like, "Holy fucking shit, dude! I've been like talking about this episode for fucking ever, and nobody seems to remember this episode."
Was that the
It blew my mind. I was like, whoa,
first anime?
yeah, that was the what was it, Indigo?
Yeah, I don't remember that one. I remember Ash having getting a haunter to make Jasmine laugh or whatever. I remember that.
They watched. They had the other episode on where Ash tries to hook his Butterfree up with that pink Butterfree.
Oh yeah, I thought that was that would have been a cooler shiny. Thinking more of it, having it be pink. I don't think I saw it. If I did see it, it's been a very long time. Like I'm talking
Are you
like
talking about the Ghastly
the
episode?
Ghastly episode. It's probably been at least 15 years since I've seen
Yeah,
it.
I swear it was like I think that was the premise of the episode was like the dude got turned into a Ghastly and there was like a festival that was going on and his like girlfriend or wife or whatever was dead and he would like wait for her ghost and shit. It was it's a weird ass episode, but that's one of the episodes that always sticks in my mind for whatever reason. I don't know why, but
Mine
I
would probably be the
couldn't believe that they
Charmander
were watching.
episode.
Well, isn't that like one of the really sad ones where his like fucking he gets
Yeah,
like
when
abandoned?
well, yeah, when they find him abandoned and his trainer like basically abandoned him because he was weak or whatever,
Yeah,
and he was sitting out in the pouring rain where Charmanders can die because if that flame burns out, they die,
yeah.
which is like kind of fucked up to think about. And it's just like, man, Pokemon gets dark. I'm thinking about like I can't wait. I still haven't read the mangas yet. I have, but like I'm still expecting. I know there's one with like Arbok getting cut in half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like Jesus Christ, and then like some of the Pokédex entries too. Like I know like it's not Spinda. Why is this Spoink? Yeah, if he stops bouncing, he dies. Like
Yeah,
Jesus, that's so fucked. And like Drifloon, like just like its purpose is to steal kids. Like what the fuck? Like what is the like why? Like why would you think about that Pokemon in a kids game where it's priority for kids? Like hey kids, you want nightmares? Here you go. Here's a Drifloon.
damn, here's a fuel.
Here's some fuel. Like um yeah, like they take you away from your family. Or like Bayonet. Bayonet was was a toy that got abandoned from like kids just like throw them in the trash basically. So it came alive and it was trying to torment the kids. That's why there's bayonets. If I remember right.
Fucking Pokemon, man.
Yeah, there's some crazy shit.
So before we get into our picks for forgotten franchises, James, is there anything that you've been playing recently that you feel like people should check out?
Yeah, there is one. I mean, we've both played it. Not many people seem to know about it. I've done a playthrough. I've been doing a playthrough on my channel now with the updates, doing randomizers and shit. Monster Sanctuary. I've been replaying that again. It's on all systems. It's on your PS4s and 5s, your Xboxes, Switch, and PC. They like the last update they did. Basically adds with typical Pokemon like Nuzlocke streamers do nowadays, where they do randomizers. Honestly, I will say the randomizer is my preferred way of playing the game because it's just like you don't know what you're gonna get, and you can get either a really good monster to help you or a really bad one, and that's the only time I've beaten the game was in a randomizer. Because oh man, that game is so tough for an RPG.
Yeah. So it's the combat system in that game is really weird. So it's 3v3s and there's tight differences and stuff, obviously, because it's a Pokemon clone.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other RPG elements, and it's all turn based. But it's very like strategic in the way that you can buff and debuff yourself and your enemies. Status effects. There's just all sorts of stuff, and it really all plays in on what abilities you use when, and it's kind of the main goal is to try to get you pretty much want to get as many buffs and debuffs in as you can while also doing damage because it's all point. Uh, the battles are rated at the very end depending on what you've done with your team and to your opponents, and then at the end you get graded on how that fight went, and then it also determines what kind of loot you get at the end. It was a really cool game. I think that's probably one that I probably should go back and mess around with because that was at one point it was me, you, John, and Brandon. We were just up till about like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Dude, I'm telling you, like the randomizer one, I think is a lot of fun. And we didn't mention also like there's also platforming and it's like Metroidvania kind of in a way too, because like you literally one of the monsters. So monsters also have different abilities out in the field. Like you can ride a monster, you can fly with them, they can break down buildings. Some of them have like an anchor thing that you could like just whip you with, like a hook shot, like from Zelda. There's like a morph ball from fucking Metroid, for God's sakes, which I thought was hilarious when I found that out. There's the character worms.
Like stuff to like if there's like a branch or something in your way, then there are like monsters that can like breathe fire and burn shit.
Yep, they can burn it. They can make things electrocute. They can light up rooms. Like there's champion monsters, which I guess I don't know if you would consider them legendaries. I would just kind of consider. I mean, technically, yeah. They're just usually stronger. Oh, and you can nickname your monsters to whatever you want. There's no limit. You can name them. I named one of mine Donkey Teeth, and you can name them Fuckface. You can name them. Like when I was playing it on my Xbox, on the file I finished, I had the pterodactyl character.
Yeah, and, he's really good.
He is. He's a really good teammate. And I asked Miranda, my girlfriend, I was like, "What should I name him?" She goes, "Vagina."
Vagina?
No, Vagina. So I just named it Vagina. So I kept that, and there was the tank, the little not the tank, but the first boss you face at the house where he has all the slime characters.
Oh, you're talking about the little
like teacup looking guy?
Yeah, the kettle guy.
He's actually really fucking good with the right shifting things. And there's an item, guys, that you can like shift. Like you can have different stats and stuff, and then there's also skill trees. So when you level up, there's different perks.
So that's too, yeah.
You can unlock different moves, different perks. Like you can be revived. Your health will do more. Your attacks will do additional damage, and all this. It's a really like in-depth RPG. I wish Pokemon would do something like that.
The thing about skill trees too is how James was saying you can level them up, but it not only makes those attacks stronger, but as you level them up, they do more things. So like sometimes if there was one, I started out with the Flame Lion guy.
Yeah.
He had an ability where it was just his basic like Fire Claw, but level 1 was just basic. It did fire damage and slight physical. And then as you leveled it up, it was like you can add a burn effect for 3 turns. Then it's you level up more, and it's like, okay, now it spreads to other enemy party members. Mm-hmm. So like you're not just increasing the damage of that move. The moves actually change as you level them up. It's really fun, and you can also put equipable items on your monsters, so you can up their damage. How much if you got an ability that uses a lot of like mana, you can make it to where you use like less mana for moves. It's really in depth. I definitely would recommend.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of turn-based RPGs or like you want something that feels like Pokemon but is like a big spin on it, I would definitely check out Monster Sanctuary. I think it's pretty fucking dope.
The only suggestion I would say, besides like the randomizer thing, is pick the Toad as your starter. The Toad, I think, is the best out of the 4. Just because of his abilities, his tankiness. It's all around. Because I've been using all 4. He's the only one I've fully completed the story with, but so far he is definitely the best out of the 4 in my opinion. But that would be my recommendation. But that's what I've been playing. Other than like Crash Team Rumble, that's a fun multiplayer game. It can get a little bit frustrating. but as long as you got some friends to play, it's kind of like Fortnite. Like, it's better to get shit on with your friends, but it's not as bad as Fortnite because at least there's different classes. Each character performs different. So like it's a lot of fun. I've been playing a lot of that, and then I've been playing Pokemon as usual because I'm a big Pokemon guy. So that's really all I've been playing as of late. And I started up. I know Mark won't be able to see this. I started playing God of War, not the first God of War, but the first one on the PS4.
Or the remake.
Finally, the continuation, I should say. Yeah, the one where with his son when he, Atreus. It actually was kind of fun. It was I died and then I had to do something else. So, but
Did you
yeah,
do it on Give Me God of War? No.
what?
Did you do it on Give Me God of War?
No, I've done. I think I did it on casual or whatever, just so I can learn not to get my shit put in.
Yeah.
But what have you been playing, Mark?
So James was very kind and put me on his family plan on the Switch. So I've been playing a couple of games on the N64 emulator and the Game Boy Advance emulator. I've been playing Kirby and the Crystal Shards because that is a game that I would like to add to my collection, but I've never been able to get my hands on it. And they've got it on the N64 library, so I've been playing the fuck out of that, and I've been really, really enjoying that.
Mm-hmm.
Because from what I understand, um, the mechanic of being able to mix enemy abilities when you eat them, I don't think they've ever done that ever again since.
No.
I didn't really know. I've heard a lot of complaints too that um, there's only like 6 or 7 types overall. And people really like, from what I've seen, they really didn't like that aspect of it. But if you think about it, it's kind of like I view it the same kind of way I look at like trick weapons in Bloodborne. So yeah, there might only be 6 to 7 abilities, but you double or damn near triple that number overall because you can mix them. Because
Right.
like in Bloodborne, every weapon's technically 2 weapons, and it's kind of the same deal in Crystal Shards. Is it's not just those 7; it's a combination of those 7. And I've been having a lot of fun just trying to mix and match stuff, whether it be 2 fire elements or 2 spike elements. But that game's really, really cool. I'm glad that I'm finally being able to play that. And then on the Game Boy Advance, I've been playing Metroid Fusion because I fucking love Metroid. Metroid Fusion was actually, I think, the first or second Metroid game that I had ever played.
Mm.
And ever since then, I'm not like a giant Metroid fan, but it's definitely probably one of my favorite game franchises. And I haven't looked or played that game in fucking forever. So that was really cool that they had that on there. And there's a lot of other games on there too that I want to start playing. And then I've been playing Demon Souls a whole lot on the PS3, not the PS5. That was the last Souls game that I needed to beat. And for a while, I forgot that I had bought that game about 2 years ago. And I went in my basement after I got one of the Retro Fighters controllers. I was like, where the fuck is Demon Souls? Because I didn't have a PS3 controller. So I was like, where the fuck's Demon Souls? And I went down there, destroyed the basement, found it, beat it, and I'm on, I think, my 4th playthrough. I'm doing a magic build right now. And I fucking love it. Demon Souls is amazing. I always thought that my favorite Souls game out of the, like, well, it'd be a 4-piece if you count Demon Souls, but I think Demon Souls might be my favorite one now.
Oh, really?
It's really fun. Yeah, dude, the level layout is cool. It feels more. It's based on, like, so every archstone that you go to, it's cut off in levels. So it's not like how Dark Souls 1 and stuff was interconnected, and you found different parts of the world as you explored. It was set up. Each archstone had 4 levels, so you had like 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, and then it did the same things at 2-1, 2-2, and you get it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the level layout is a lot better. It's more concise because they set it up like that. The bosses are pretty cool. It's cool to see how other bosses were influenced by that game because it was the first one. So to see how the Souls games were pretty much like what other bosses and levels and weapons and stuff were inspired from Demon Souls. It was super crazy to see like, oh, that's where they got that, or oh, that's where they got that. Because at that point, I'd never really seen anything on it because I didn't want to spoil it. I wanted to play it.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I've been playing the shit out of that. I've played that for about an hour before I go to bed every night. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So Metroid Fusion, Crystal Shards, and Demon Souls. Oh, and then I bought F Zero GX for the
Mm-hmm.
GameCube, and I've been playing that a lot, and it's fucking ridiculous. The story mode on it is like super fucking hard. I'm only on chapter 3 and I can't beat it. It's ridiculous. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Nice. That's some pretty good stuff, man. I think,
Amazing.
yeah. I mean, like honestly, and like, there's some other games that I've played. Like I've been playing Paper Mario on the N64 thing, Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, but I haven't been really playing them a whole lot on the N64 thing on the Switch. And then I want to start Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga at some point, and then Fire Emblem because
I oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say Superstar Saga is probably my if I had to go like out of the Mario and Luigi games I've played, I've only played up to the fourth iteration, and then I stopped like 2 hours into it because I just didn't like it. I didn't like Dream Team. Um, it's probably my favorite out of the three I have beaten because it goes and like if I had to go in the orders I've played, Superstar Saga, Bowser's Inside Story because that one's really fun, and Partners in Time I actually liked, but it's still my lowest on the list. I know a lot of people shit on it because like, oh, it has the babies in it. And I'm like, well, okay, that's a pretty dumb reason to like
Yeah.
hate it. I think it makes the combat interesting.
See, I kind of have that same deal with like Yoshi's Story. I fucking love Yoshi's Story.
Yes.
And people are always like, well, it's just too easy. It's not like Yoshi's Island. I'm like, but you can't really like. It's hard to compare any Yoshi game to Yoshi's Island because Yoshi's Island was that good. But
Yeah.
I don't think Yoshi's Story being easy really affects the gameplay at all because it's like
Yeah, it's still
it's a fucking
fun.
Yoshi game. It's not. I don't think it's supposed to be hard. And if you think about it, technically Yoshi's Island is not even a Yoshi game. It's fucking
Still technically
Super Mario.
Mario. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's still ten.
And
It's
if you want to
still.
compare any of those to, if you want to
Yeah.
compare Yoshi's Island to any of the other Mario games, like Yoshi's Island is pretty much a fucking joke.
Yeah, because it says Super Mario World 2,
Yep.
Yoshi's Island. So if you think about it, it's not even really a Yoshi game. It's
Yeah.
just Yoshi's
And
a playable character.
if you're comparing it to that, like Super Mario World's way harder than fucking Yoshi's Island.
Yeah. Oh,
But any of the
fuck
original
yeah.
Mario games are fucking harder. I would say probably not two so much, but
Yeah, if we're talking the lost levels, then yes. But if we're talking the
okay.
American Mario 2, then no, probably not. Um, yeah, but like Abigail had the same thing. She's like, yeah, I don't know why everyone shit on this game. This game's a lot of fun. I'm
Yeah.
like,
And
yeah,
I
like,
love the art design. I like the art design. I think it looks fucking great. I think a lot of people, the thing they compare to, and I get why, like graphically at least, they compare Mario Kart 64 with Yoshi's Island when it comes to the character models. But I feel like they do that kind of pseudo 3D look. Like I think
yeah,
Yoshi and your story looks way better than like Mario Kart. If you turn a certain way, it's like you can see the flatness and then like them like you
yeah,
know, turning to see the other side of it. And it's like it's so ugly. Plus, Mario Kart 64 plays like dog shit. So,
yeah. Well, the first Mario Kart plays even worse, if we're being
oh yeah,
honest. Me and Miranda tried playing that, dude. We couldn't even do it. We did one race, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. It was that bad. And everyone shits on Double Dash, and I'm like, that's my favorite.
no
But
comment on that.
no comment on. Mark has
No.
no comment. I wonder
Anyway,
why. um,
um,
yeah, I think we're gonna get into the games now that we have thought up
to wind
of.
up here.
Yeah, so Mark's gonna start off first. So I think what's gonna happen is I think we're gonna just should we show the gameplay first? I don't even think we really even talked about it. Should we show the gameplay first and then talk about it?
We can do it while we talk about it.
Okay.
Just so like if there's stuff that I forget or you forget about the game, it's right there that it's playing.
So this is Croc Legend of the Gobos. If I said that right,
Yes,
Mark. Did I say that right?
I think it's Gobos.
Gobos. Okay.
So this game, I feel like not only obviously is it forgotten because it definitely is, but I feel like this game is a victim of being released when it was released. Because if by that time, you had Super Mario 64, Banjo Kazooie. You had like way better platformers than this. Not even on just competitive consoles, but even just on the PlayStation itself, there was way better looking games and playing games. This game, I think control wise, the other game that I can compare it to would be like the original Resident Evils because it had like the tank controls. This whole part right here is just fucking miserable. And it's because of the control. Now, this guy's obviously really fucking good at the game because if you couldn't tell by the title of the video, it was a no damn.
Yeah, it was the first one I found, so I just.
Yeah, this guy's gonna make me look like I don't know what I'm talking about. But if you've ever played this game, or if you're seeing you're just looking at the gameplay right now, like it's just so awkward because it was
It had
like
tank
PS1
controls,
game.
didn't it?
You always use like L1 and R1 to like turn your camera.
Yeah.
And it was just weird button mapping, which obviously it made for like really clunky gameplay. But yeah, Croc, it might play like dog shit, but it's a game that I feel like again it's a victim of just being released when it was released. The type of game that it is just if you're gonna play a platformer, there's just way better ones to play. But it's just Croc's got looking at it now, it's just got a certain like charm to it. It really does. This reminds me of like the little bonus things on Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah, I think they're actually remastering Croc.
Yeah, I saw an article about that.
Yeah, because they're doing that in Gex, which is another like unknown like platformer, like no one really remembers much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is I haven't played this game personally. I did buy a copy, and unfortunately, it just doesn't work. I had Mark try it out because I knew he was going to love trying to play this. Fortunately, it just was too old and too scratched up. But this is basically the game. It looks fun, even with the tank controls in mind, because I do know it had tank controls. I don't know. I don't remember if you mentioned that or not.
Yeah.
I was trying.
I think too, if you have a dual analog controller, I think you can bypass the whole tank control thing. I'm pretty sure, which would definitely make this game a lot more bearable to play. But like you can even tell just by the way he's turning, you've got an idea of what the controls are going to be like. And some of these, especially on this part, some of the timing that you have to do and the jumps, it's so ridiculous. But it's definitely a game that, again, if it didn't come out when it came out, I think it probably would have been a little decent little series, and I think it would have got more love.
Yeah, I think
but it's one that I definitely hold close to me because it's just I've got a lot of fond memories with it. I think like I said, it's got a weird charm to it that it's just like you can't when you're looking at it, it's like you can't help but like kind of it looks fun.
Yeah.
As infuriating as the controls and stuff would probably make it, it's got a certain feel to it that I love.
And I think this was before like Crash 1. So like and Mario 64. I could be wrong, but like so this is like them trying to work out like okay, how do we do 3D platforming before Mario 64 was like
I think 64 came out in like 96.
Yeah.
So this might have been like a few years. Croc might have been a few years after. I think this might have been like 98 or 99.
So yeah, I mean, but the footprints were made, but even so, you don't have to have it like that because I mean, as long as it's not hindering the gameplay, you know.
Yeah.
Which this guy is apparently just god tier because he's probably played nothing but Croc.
He's probably done this run bunch of times.
I guess you could say
but
he's not a crock of shit. Ha
but yeah,
ha.
Croc, uh, definitely a forgotten series that I kind of wish wasn't so forgotten, and I guess it's not now that they're getting a remaster here soon. But yeah, that was my first pick.
Now it is my turn to pick. It's been a while since I played this. All I know is me and my dad um, played the hell out of this when it first came out. Here's basically kind of like what it is. So basically, you're Jason. Jason. You're in the Greek times, obviously, as you can see, big motherfucker Hercules over there. Um, and basically, he's gonna get married to his wife. I can't remember the wife's name off the top of my head. Um, and they basically get attacked in their kingdom, and she dies. To put it simply, I thought she was my first playthrough with my dad. I thought she was poisoned, but apparently she's like just dead. Like just they killed the shit out of her. So now Jason's like grieving. He's like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna go resurrect her by any means necessary." Now, what you're seeing on screen right here, there's different skill trees, I guess you could say, and there's also the way you talk to somebody will build up. Like, see how it says Ares right there? Let's see if I can actually move them out. Oh, never mind. Oh, well, basically Ares. It's kind of like the Mass Effect style of how they conversate with people. So, like, I was just playing something earlier, and some guy got upset that his brother died in the invasion, and I was like, "You better calm the fuck down," basically. And he was like, "No, fight me, bitch." I was like, "Okay." So I beat him up, and I took his mace. And this is pretty much early on. And what's really cool about it is that you get upgrades for your weapons. So the main weapons that you can probably tell in the gameplay here is a giant fucking mace that he's wielding on the back of his head, on his back. The giant shield, which reminds me of Soul Air, kind of thinking of it right now. The spear, and then there's just a normal sword, and the armor he's wearing also you can upgrade. So the basic stuff he has now doesn't give him any boosts, but the different stuff you get can like benefit you. Let me see if I can get to a. Oh, I paused it by accident. Let me see if I can get to a like an actual fighting scene here. Oh, this is the scene I was talking about, where his brother's like the guy's brother was like, "Hey, calm! Like my brother died. Why'd you let him do that, Jason?" Like, yeah. So and it's just like you end up fighting with Hercules, all these guys. So the voice acting's okay. It's not super like, oh my god, this is the best voice acting of all time, but I think it does an okay job. Um, the models and everything look pretty good. Basically, I was going to sum this gameplay up in did you like God of War? Then here you
Yeah,
go.
that little bit that I saw, it kind of looked like Dante's Inferno-ish.
Yeah. Now, as you can see, where he just picked, he said, he's picking more of an Ares because he's being more dominant and aggressive. Now, each place has different branches. So this is actually where you get your first mace, which is actually really cool. And there are actually cosmetic changes as well. It's not just excuse me. It's not just what was I trying to say? It's not just you get a thing and it powers you up. You actually get to see the changes, which I like that kind of shit in these kind of games. Because early on you get a different outfit, which looks badass in my opinion, and then obviously you get this mace. And further on you fight like Medusa, and then you fight like Cerberus, I think. You fight. It's pretty much like God of War, is what I mean. The only thing you don't fight is Kratos. So, damn, I know, right? There we go. Here's some fighting. And what I really like about it, it's kind of a stupid effect, but when they chop them in half, or like they lose a body part or something, it goes in slow motion, which I don't know if you guys can tell. It's but yeah, you can dodge roll. He literally just chopped them in half. You can also switch your styles. So some enemies you have to use the mace, you have to use the
Yeah.
spear, and you have to use the sword. Right now, I think they're in the underworld right now. But yeah, and you can also shield bash with that giant shield, which I would hope so for him carrying that giant fucking thing the whole damn time. But yeah, it's a pretty fun game. I think it's only for the PC and the Xbox 360. Um, Up to my knowledge, I could be wrong. I didn't do a whole lot of research for that, but I thought it was a fun little game. Me and my dad used to play. Um, Back when we first got the 360. So I thought that was a fun little game to at least show you guys. So if you like God of War and you like that kind of Mass Effect, like branching out storylines, I think that'd be a good one for you.
My next forgotten series is F-Zero. Um, you couldn't tell by the game, one of the games I've got in the back, and then I mentioned it earlier. I love F-Zero. I'm not a big racing fan at all, but this game and the series is it's way different than most racers that I've played. And if I had to compare it to the obvious bigger one on the systems, Mario Kart I feel is pretty much luck based in that if you're in first, you're going to get items that are really going to try to keep you in first. If you're in last, you're going to get items that are going to progress you up farther the line. And it's all RNG based. So it feels more like luck than anything. F-Zero is more kind of like a skill based kind of like you really have to know how to hit a turn and when to drift and when not to drift, when to use boosts. Um, I know the first game on the SNES, it really didn't utilize boosts in the same way that it did after X used it. And I know a lot of the Game Boy Advance games like Maximum Velocity and CP Legends didn't really. It was more how the Super Nintendo game was, but you really had to know how those mechanics worked to win. And every time you did win, it felt like you earned it. It didn't feel like it was really a luck thing or like, oh, I just happened to be, you know, in the right spot with an item or something because there are no items. So, the only way you can really eliminate somebody is if you kill them. And even doing that, it can be a little hard. But I feel like it's such a different racer than any racer I've really played. And it's sad that Captain Falcon is just that guy from Smash when this game right here, like I've only played a little bit of GX, um, but I fucking love it. It's awesome. It's just so fucking fast paced. You really feel that speed, especially with the games playing at 60 FPS. Especially with X. Like the GX is definitely way faster, but I feel like because X was on vastly inferior hardware, the fact that it came at the sacrifice of graphics and stuff and backgrounds, but the fact that they have an N64 game that plays as good as F-Zero X does and that 60 FPS is just it's wild that they were able to do that. And I feel like if they wouldn't have done that, it wouldn't have felt the same. It wouldn't have felt like F-Zero because even the SNES game is really fast too. But the cool thing about GX, there's a story mode, which I said earlier in the beginning, is fucking hard. It's so hard.
Yeah.
You have the Grand Prix like normal, but the cool thing is you can unlock parts to cars and you can customize your own vehicle. You can put little stamps on the pilot vehicle. So like I put a Golden Falcon on Captain Falcon's ship, which is really cool. It's a lot of other customizable things you can do to the pilots as well as your own vehicle. It's just such a fun series, man. If you're a racing fan at all and you've never played F-Zero, I would highly recommend GX. I can't say enough good things about F-Zero X. I played that game I think X was probably the first game that I did play. And I used to fucking love that game. which younger me is probably very happy with older me because I could not even beat novice mode on F-Zero X, and now I've pretty much got all of it beat. I just got to do master, which is fucking making me want to jump out of a window. It's that hard. Um, but it's a super rewarding game. If you're into like higher difficulty games that require you to, really, if you're a mechanics kind of guy, you're not really into like the laid back kind of, I guess accessible game. I guess it's a douchey way to say it, but it's the only way I can think of to describe it. I would definitely recommend any of the F-Zero games. I've been fucking loving GX, and it's a fucking shame. And another thing, it's a shame that there hasn't been any more since 2004 because fucking Miyamoto has straight up said the only reason they have not made a fucking F-Zero game since is because he feels like there's nothing innovative that they can bring to it. But if you ask any fan of F-Zero, anybody who wants to get into that series and wants to see more, they don't care. They don't want a brand new idea. They just want a better looking, more like smooth playing F-Zero game. That's all we want. So yeah, check out F-Zero if you've never played it, and stop calling Captain Falcon that guy from Smash.
It infuriates Mark. Please don't do that. Alright, so my next game is from a beloved series that probably kind of went downhill. It's still going on today, but in terms of video games, really hasn't had many games. I mean, there was one literally called this series, this game, on the 360 Wii and all that shit, but I don't really like that one. This is the one I played the most of. A lot of people seem to love it. The Simpsons Hit and Run that was released all the way back on the GameCube, the PS2, the Xbox, pretty much all the systems back in the day. This game is basically what people say is a watered-down GTA, and as much as that sounds like it sucks, it's actually really good. As you can see, Homer's about to stomp the fuck out of that bee after he bitch slaps it. And boom! Just kicks it. Now, what I really like about this game is that, for one, they got all the voice actors. Every single one. I would show it, but I would let you guys listen to it, but we may get copyright for that. But, I'd rather not. I'd rather just show you guys it and just take my word by it. Basically, the main premise of the game is there's this Buzz Cola that Krusty's showing that everyone and their mom's drinking, and turns out Kang and, what's their name? Kangs and Kodos? Isn't that right? The aliens? Yeah. They're the ones giving the humans on Earth the drink because they have a reality TV show called like Big Stupid Earthlings or something like that. I like this part. Another thing, it says studies show 90% of video games start with a tutorial level. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. There's a lot of glitches that you can pull off. There's cheat codes. There's just a whole lot of stuff, and there's just missions, and the dialogue between characters are funny. I think Homer probably has the best dialogue out of everybody, especially in the final level where he's in the zombie area, because the last level is like a Halloween. And he goes, brains, and Homer goes, thank you, I do have nice brains.
Another thing that I really like about this game is I feel like a lot of franchises and series that, especially like licensed stuff like this, I feel like they don't really put a whole lot of love into those games. It's just kind of like there to promote whatever it is they're trying to promote. But this game, it feels like a lot of like effort and love and appreciation for what it's like a playable Simpsons episode, pretty much is what it is. And it all feels organic, and it feels like it doesn't feel gimmicky and pushy. It's like I said, it just feels like a lot of love and attention was put into this game.
And there's a lot of hidden details from like other like the episodes, like references. Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff to destroy. Like you can play as Homer, Bart, Marge, Lisa, and even Apu. Apu is one of the characters you play as, which is kind of interesting. I was thinking when I first played this, like, are you going to play as Maggie too? And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you can't play as Maggie in Simpsons game. But, there's a lot of cool references. Like, even you could change costumes as he's probably going to show. Oh, never mind. Oh, cool. Well, there's a lot of references to the show. Like, you can have, like, Homer, like, in this first level, you can have Homer in his underwear for whatever reason. Or the Moo Moo, where he gets really fat, like, even fatter than what he is now. And I think and there's the Chosen One outfit, too. And every character has different outfits and different levels and stuff. The missions are fun. There's usually none that are too challenging besides the armored car level, and the Apu's level is hell. That one will take you a good 15-20 minutes.
I gotta say too, like the driving, like the controls, the way this game plays, it's even for like just being from the time that it came out and the hardware that it came out on, like this game controls like really fucking smooth. Like the driving is, it's really all dependent on the vehicle that you choose, but overall, like just play like whatever car you do decide to use, like this game plays like really fucking well.
Now, obviously, if you get like bigger cars, like there's one, obviously different cars are going to control differently. I just think the line dialogue's funny because this was before The Simpsons, in my opinion, and a lot of other people kind of just took a shit because it's the same stuff over and over. It's kind of like how I see with Family Guy. Like after like Brian died, like it just was not entertaining at all. Like some stuff and this went over the edge. But this was before like the Simpsons movie came out, so this is like peak Simpsons for me. Like I think all the jokes are there, the gameplay's fun, the graphics look great, the music is like typical Simpsons music. I just think like they just did a really good job with it. I think if I had to give any critique is that it's a little bit too samey. Like you go through the same levels. Like the first level we just saw was Homer. You come back as that with Marge, and then the last level is still that level, but it's a Halloween theme as Homer. And same with Bart's second level. You do that as Bart, and then you come back as Apu, and then the third level you do as Lisa, and then the seventh level you come back to that level as Bart. But, it's just, that'd be my only gripe, is that the levels are too samey, but at least they have different missions to put it together. And there's, it's just a really good game. Now, the only other thing I would recommend is do not buy a GameCube version, because I've had 4 different copies burn out on me at this point, I'm pretty sure. Where, like, the disc just burns itself up. Because if you play it too much, it'll just stop working. So, yeah, it's a very weird thing. I don't know if it's, like, the way they made them or whatever, but, like, I don't know how else to describe it. So, buy the PS2 version. That's probably going to be the best one. I think there was a PC version, which we were watching right now. But yeah, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for the first episode, a little under an hour and a half, but I think it was a lot of fun. Woo! If not, or if you did, let us know. I guess. I don't know. But thank y'all for watching. We'll see you for the next episode.
Bye, guys.
Bye.